Last year I read CJ Tudor's debut novel, The Chalk Man, and this year when I got the opportunity from Crown Publishing to review her latest work, The Hiding Place, I said yes. When I first read The Chalk Man, I liked a lot of things about CJ Tudor's writing. I liked how it was efficient and quick, and the concept seemed really great, but for one reason or another, the book never really came together for me, and so I thought, hey, I liked it enough to give it a 3-star rating or a 3.5-star rating last year. So I think it was worth the deep dive into her newer book to see what I thought of that, to see if her style had changed in any way or in a way that I thought appealed more to me as a reader. So let me give you a very quick synopsis. The Hiding Place is essentially about a teacher who comes back to his hometown. This is a hometown that is a sort of dark, grim place. It's been stained with a lot of tragedies in the local history. Lots of people have gone missing. There was a mine at one point that is now abandoned and is sort of just sitting there waiting to be developed or not developed or whatever by the local council. Now, Joe's hometown is not exactly a place where he's welcome. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of people who grew up there and never left, and people know things about Joe. He knows things about them. It seems like everybody has a skeleton hiding in their closet. Lots of people don't want Joe back in town, and they're kind of questioning why the heck he's there. So that's sort of the question we're exploring as we go into this novel. Who is Joe? What's his history? Why is everyone so against him being back in town? And he's written with a voice that is really cynical and crass and sort of speaks to underworld crime tomes where it's kind of insinuated that he's been through a lot and that these people have nothing on what he's been through. And so he goes back into town with his own hidden agenda. We are given some hints about that agenda in the beginning, namely the fact that there was some sort of incident that happened with his school age gang back in the day, and a time when his younger sister went missing and then came back. The goal of this novel by the end is to unravel all those different intricacies, how everyone's tied together, what Joe's doing there. Is it just to do with diving into what happened to his sister, trying to prevent it from happening again? Is there something crime-wise going on that led him back to the town? There's a few different questions that we go in, and the point is just to figure all that out by the end. But down to the review. If you liked The Chalk Man, then you're probably going to like this equally. It's a very similar book, which for me is a bit of a letdown because I wasn't such a big fan of The Chalk Man in the first place, and I was hoping I'd see an improvement in what I felt was a better way to tell her great story ideas and the way she writes, because sometimes she writes these beautiful little passages that are just deliciously wonderful. You want to highlight them and underline them. They'll be cynical and crass a little bit, but in a way that speaks to the sort of negative persona inside each of us. I really like her talent for that. She has a talent for voice and narrative, and I wanted to see more of that, but I was hoping that the story itself would tie together better. It seems like her books have a recurring theme. It's like they have this really great concept and a really good beginning that draws you in and makes you really curious about what the heck's going on, and then a middle that sort of lags, and then an ending that just barely ties everything together, and usually not in as satisfying a way as you would hope for. Structurally, I think the novel needs work, especially in her transitions, which can be extremely haphazard and kind of confusing. I would not at all recommend listening to this on audiobook because I think you would just have a hard time piecing everything together. It's a little tricky remembering, even reading it on a hardcover or a physical format, who's who, who's tied to who, and then the transitions themselves are just kind of hard to flow. Like there's a flow issue here, basically. So while her writing style itself in small segments is really well done, I feel like an overarching narrative is the issue. And that's why I'm going to get into the main issue I had with this book and why I dropped my rating a little bit by the time I got to the end. I feel like this book has a little bit of an identity crisis. It's set up and sold as a mystery thriller where you have natural human failings and ailments that contribute to the mystery at large, contribute to the problem that we're trying to solve. In mysteries, you're looking for a logical answer, right? You're looking for a way to tie all the pieces together, to have figured out where all the breadcrumbs came from, and that's sort of the pleasing aspect of finishing a mystery. So this novel is set up like a mystery. There's a lot of mystery elements. There's a crime aspect, a skeletons in the closet sort of aspect, a missing girl aspect, all mystery things, right? Where this got a little weird was towards the latter half, probably the last quarter, where the book took a more horror edge, where it started giving us slightly supernatural reasonings for the entire concept of the novel and the entire mystery. So to me, that's a little bit strange and a little bit hard to pull off. It can be pulled off. You can write a horror with mystery and thriller aspects, but I feel like this was a mystery thriller with horror aspects. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but that's a hard thing to do if you don't tie it in properly in the beginning or set the atmosphere in a certain way. So it was a bit of a disappointment to me to get to the end of the novel and be expecting natural causes and natural explanations trending with a mystery novel, and then getting explanations that belong at the end of a horror novel. There's almost a Pet Sematary Stephen King-esque style to the whole thing, which again is something that I'm not opposed to. You know me. I like horror, I like scary things, I like the whole elements of the supernatural, but I think it's really tricky to set something up as a crime, mystery, missing child, and then finish it with the supernatural. So I hope that I've said enough without giving you any spoilers. I obviously don't want to go into detail because I don't want to ruin anything for you should you choose to read the book, but I did think it was important to note that it's sort of a genre crossover, and if you're looking for the traditional mystery thriller, then obviously you're not gonna really get it. There's elements there, but something in the ending fell apart for me, and that was the same thing that happened to me in The Chalkman. When I read The Chalkman, I really liked the concept, as I did in The Hiding Place. When I read The Chalkman, I really liked parts of her writing, as I did in The Hiding Place. And in both books, the beginning gripped me, the middle started to lag a little bit, and I was like, okay, where are we going? And then the ending tied together, but not in a way that I felt super satisfied what the story proposed in the beginning. So it's a tricky book to rate and to read, but that's basically my thoughts on it. So if you want to read the new CJ Tudor, just go in knowing it's a bit of a crossover, and if you choose to read it, I hope you enjoy the heck out of it. I hope you enjoy it more than I did. It was a 3-star read for me, just middle of the road. It was, parts of it were good, parts of it I liked, parts of it I had some problems with. I hope this helps you make your decision buying the book, or it helps you work through your thoughts if you're watching this after you read the book. Either way, I'd love to talk to you about it in the comments. Feel free to drop me a line below and let's chat about it. And if you could do me a huge favor before you hop off and just give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, but you like all things bookish, book reviews, TBRs, hauls, wrap-ups, all the good bookish stuff, then I'm your girl. So go ahead and press that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.